Hey, do you ever feel like having a door in your game? Let's see how we can program doors that always open outwards to the player. So, this is our player. We calculate the direction vector from the doors to the player like this. This is indicated by the purple arrow. We calculate another vector, which is the forward vector for the door. Make sure it's a vector pointing outwards like this. Now I'm going to display a dot product between those two vectors. Notice that when the player is in the red area, the dot product is positive, but in the blue area it is negative. Now we can use the sign to determine which side of the door you are on. Now since we know which side we're on, we can trigger a specific animation or rotate around the pivot to open the door. In this tutorial I'm going to manually rotate it in the code, but you can easily just use an animation. Okay, so firstly you can get rid of these. So we're just going to have a target Y rotation. This is the target rotation, the Y rotation for the door. And I'm going to have a public smooth, which is going to be used for our animation. Auto close, in case if you want the doors to auto close behind the player. We need a player reference for the position. Float default Y rotation, which is obviously the default rotation. Timer, this is going to be used for the auto closing. Then we need the pivot of the door. We also need if it's open right now. So in the start, we're just going to get the game object, find game object with tag player. Make sure to make it transform. So the default Y rotation is going to be transform.Euler-Angles.Y. Now in the update, we're gonna change the pivot rotation to Plutonian Lab pivot rotation, and it's gonna be the target rotation. So it's the default rotation plus target rotation 0 smooth times, and then just smooth it out with smooth variable and time to delta time. We're going to decrease the timer. This is the closing timer, so if it's 0 and the door is open and we want to auto close it, then we close it. Now let's make the toggle door method. So it requires the position. This is the position of whatever is opening it. So in case if you have an AI that's opening the doors, you also want the doors to open outwards from the AI. So this is the position that's gonna. So essentially, if the AI is opening the door, then this will be the position of the AI. It's whatever is opening the door, basically, the position. So now if it's open, we're gonna calculate the direction, which is the position of the object minus our position. This is the direction, and now target Y rotation is going to be the sign of the dot product, as we discussed earlier. I'm going to set the timer to 5 seconds. You can change it to something else if you like, or even make it a variable. So here, the transform.right, if it doesn't work for you, then just try like using up, maybe that, maybe like forward. One of them is going to work for you. And you might also need to change the sign, like get rid of it if it opens the wrong way every time. Then we're going to say, we're going to have an open method in case if you want to open it. So if it's not open, then we toggle the door. Same with the close. So if it's open, then we close it. Okay, so now let's add the IOInterruptible interface and implement the members. So in the interact, we're going to say toggle door, player position, and in the description, we're going to say if it's open, close the door. Otherwise, we say open the door. Now in Unity, how do you actually make a door? Okay, so you make an empty object, which is going to be the door, but it's actually going to be the pivot. So then we say we just add a cube for now. make it thin and tall. So now what's important is that this has to be over here. So what we say is just offset this, in my case a half, so that this this parent is the pivot. So if I rotate this, it's going to rotate the door around this object. Now you add the we're going to add the door script to the model. The smoothness can be like 10, and the pivot is going to be the parent. And now just play and test, make sure it works. So it opens outwards, and if I go, yeah, there you go. It will always open outwards.